All right, gang, welcome to this 10-day series of golden algorithmic nuggets. Why am I doing this? Well, I have something to celebrate with you because I've been an entrepreneur since April 1st, 2005. So that means that this upcoming April 1st, I have been an entrepreneur for 20 years. And I think that's a big milestone. And I want to celebrate it with you guys. So I'm giving away free stuff, golden nuggets. I'm doing a 10-day series. So from now on, 10 days, every day you will get a golden nugget here on YouTube. And that also means that if you would like to be mentored by me in my Discord, ask all the questions you like, have access to my course and my trade setups and my daily and weekly outlooks, I have a 20% discount running right now until April 1st. So you find the link in the description for that. But let's dive into it, because today I want to share with you the final hour, let's call it a macro, whatever, it doesn't even matter. The final hour trade possibility. And a lot of the times you get a low resistant liquidity run at a certain time. So first of all, yesterday we got it. So I thought, well, let's make that the first nugget. And it was also called out in the Discord. You can see that on my Twitter. So I traded that and I called it out. So it's not a hindsight thing. First of all, whenever you look for something in the final hour, and with final hour, I mean between 3 and 4 p.m. New York time. So that is the final trading hour. What was I looking for yesterday? Well, first of all, you need to have some sort of bias, right, for the session. And if we look at what the day did, we saw that it took out sell side liquidity, barely, but it did take it out. So we took out sell side liquidity in the New York session. And we had a completely one-sided day. So this was Asia, London, New York, and then we got a reversal here. And it started pushing up. And this is the PM session where I was looking for a trade. So when it took out sell side liquidity, we started to see that order flow was shifting. So first we had this bearish gap right in here that it started violating. And then finally pushing up here, creating this really nice bullish order block. So if we mark out the order block itself, you can see it started pushing away from it right here. And this is the piece of price action I want to zoom in to right now with you. And the what I was looking for exactly for the trade. So my bias was bullish because of all this. And the fact was, yeah, we already took out London liquidity right there. But we still had Asia liquidity, and that was resting right below this balanced price range right in here. So that was the narrative I had when I came into the session. That there was still liquidity here above Asia highs, but I was just looking for the long trade with the easiest target possible. So this was Asia high. Let's just mark that one out also. All right, let's dive into a 1-minute time frame now. We have our levels marked up. So first of all, this was that 1-hour order block. That's where it tagged, then it came back up to these highs again, took out London high. This was the London high. Let me also mark that one. London. So when I came to the chart and looked for a setup, I saw this accumulation. And I was bullish, right? So my narrative was bullish, but I was waiting for the right time. As you can see, this entire PM session, it was just chopping around. And when came the big push, I can tell you exactly where it was. Here, the 350. What you need to remember, and this is the golden algo nugget, the 3:50 p.m. a lot of the times starts hunting for liquidity. And whenever you enter the final hour, so what is the final hour? Here, between 3 and, where's 4? This is where it closed out, right inside of the BPR. Really funny. All right, so we have it marked out now. This is the final hour. Whenever you have a final hour and price did not yet reach bigger liquidity points, of course, London high is a bigger one, but we still had that Asia, that was still the high of day, and there was still a BPR above. Whenever it has not reached the liquidity, it will do it in the last 10 minutes of the session. And as you can see, these last 10 minutes were a low resistance liquidity run. This was all high resistance chop. And then boom, low resistance liquidity run. So when I came to the session, and that was around like here, 3:15, what I liked, and let's look inside of a little bit of power of 3, right? So between the red lines is a 1 hour candle. So this is the 3 p.m. candle forming. What do you want to see on a 1 hour candle, on every candle actually? What do you want to see when you're bullish? You first want to see a move of price action against your bias. What do you see happening here from 3 p.m.? A move lower against my bullish bias. So a move lower means that the wick is getting created on that 1 hour candle. So the candle opens here, then moves lower, creates the wick right there. This is the wick of the 1 hour candle, then starts trading higher and creates the wick on the high and then closes out here. So you can see that 1 hour candle this candle opens low and then expands higher, forms the wick, and then closes. So with that in mind, I had in mind, all right, that final candle, if it's bullish, I prefer to see the manipulation move down first. Well, all right, we are building narrative right now. We're building a plan. Then I was looking for either that it wanted to take out sell side liquidity, or it needed, of course, to see some kind of shift in here. Well, then I got a little more confirmation, a little piece of confirmation in the form of SMT divergence. So if I go to the 5-minute chart on the indices, and I have them all together now on the indices. So we have NQ, ES, and the Dow. What do we see happening right at that final hour? The low that it formed on that 3 p.m. candle. ES didn't take sell side liquidity. NQ didn't take sell side liquidity. Dow took sell side liquidity. All right, so we got some SMT divergence. Already hinting, of course it needs to be confirmed, but hinting that we might go the other way now. So with the entire narrative and knowing that there will run a macro, then I know, all right, this could be something. So the Algo nugget is the fact that when price has not reached the drawn liquidity yet, and I saw all the buildup of all this buy side liquidity. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, well, 7, a lot of highs. And it was just engineering liquidity, more liquidity, more liquidity, more liquidity. And finally, we started to see some violation of this bearish order flow. First of all, we see a bearish gap over here. If you extend that to the right, you see how it acts. So this is one of the signatures I saw happening. There, after that, you also see this bullish one be respected. And it just came back. You can see in the 15-second chart, if you have that, you can also study what happened in here, because I entered, when did I enter? Yeah, this breaker. And then my entry was here. So it was around that 1 hour gap. I think I said to the community, when we get a close. Yeah, this was the close. I said, when we get a close above this inversion, we also get a close above that high. Then I want to long. And I just want to take the obvious target. Meaning to me, this was the sell side of the curve. And then after that, you got the buy side of the curve. So this was a market maker buy model. So that means that if I take the low-hanging fruit objectives, that this is the target. So to me, this was the drawn liquidity, like that. My entry was as soon as it closes above here and retested that IFVG. So the entry was around here, stop below the low. It became kind of exciting here. And then finally, boom. So this was the trade setup. And you can see it even went up all the way to that Asia high in the balanced price range. I took it like this because a lot of the times you only see that taken and then drop hard again, something like that. So I just like to take low-hanging fruit objectives. But here you can see a perfect example of the final hour macro running, and especially pay attention to the 3:50 p.m. price action. Whenever price has not reached the drawn liquidity yet, it has built a lot of sell side liquidity on either buy side or sell side, whatever your bias is, and you have a bias that confirms all the direction you want to trade. So to me, it was kind of clear that I wanted to trade a long because of the whole narrative I just explained, and that to me then became the obvious drawn liquidity. And yeah, it was kind of not to say fun or exciting, but I was like, ooh, this is not really showing what I want. But in the end, the fact that it already closed above a previous high, the fact that we got the SMT, those are all signatures that it has to do what it has to do. So you just keep the stop there and you just pray. And then finally, when the time was right, so this was just a lot of time distortion, because price can only move when the time is right. That's why it's called time then price. So here you saw that massive move and then it boom, took the TP. So beautiful move. This is the first golden nugget I want to share with you. And remember, if you want to join my Discord and my community, I have a 20% discount running right now. You will find somewhere here the code 20 and the link. Then you also get these narratives and trades in advance, but I wanted to give this golden nugget to you, and I'm going to give you 10 more. So enjoy and enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye, gang.